Think you're brave? Adventure Science Center wants to put you to the test. Waylate Playdate Camp Fear at Adventure Science Center is a 21 and up night out where you'll face your phobias and maybe discover a few new ones. Hold hissing cockroaches, take on 300,000 volts at the Van de Graaff generator, catch live comedy, and see a planetarium show scored by a string quartet. Plus, there'll be food trucks and a full bar to help calm your nerves. Waylate Playdate Camp Fear, August 7th at Adventure Science Center. Tickets at adventuresci.org. Today on CityCast Nashville, we are doing something a little different. I am taking you with me on the Unseen Nashville tour from The Contributor, led by Sean Leslie alongside contributor, columnist, and former director of Metro's Homeless Impact Division, Judith Tackett. If you're not familiar with The Contributor, it's Nashville's street paper, sold by vendors experiencing homelessness or housing insecurity as part of an organization that provides wraparound services to folks in need. Now, this isn't the full Unseen Nashville tour that you can sign up for later after you listen, but think of this more as an invitation. We begin at Church Street Park, then walk over to the War Memorial Plaza, which is currently under construction, then end at the Wego Central Bus Station. As we walk through downtown, Sean shares what it was like to experience homelessness in Nashville, while Judith adds history, policy, perspective, and context along the way. You'll hear me chime in from time to time, but really not that much. So I'm just inviting you to simply walk alongside me and listen. And if this conversation leaves you wanting to experience more, I hope you'll sign up to take the full Unseen Nashville tour from The Contributor. It's Tuesday, July 28th. I'm Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about.
Hello, kings and queens. We are here at Church Street Park, and I'm going to tell you about me getting out of prison, being homeless, and I'm going to tell you about others being homeless. And now that we are here, let's begin. Let's take a tour. As we're walking into the park, we see that we have a sign that says, no camping, no smoking, no unleashed dogs, no feeding the birds, no bags, no drinking liquor or alcohol of any kind. And there's also no bikes or nothing like that. Across the street, we have the library. And the library, it is the place where people get off the streets, get somewhere quiet, get somewhere separated from other people. They go there for the computer, and they go there for the books, and they go there for anything else they need. They also go there to sleep and get their rest in.
So one of the things in this area at Church Street Park is that it's been developed and redeveloped over and over. And part of it is because there have been a lot of people sleeping here, resting here for years. And the goal is to make the park accessible for everybody. And that is a great goal. The problem, what happens is, where are all these people going? What happens when the library is closed? They cannot go indoors from out of the elements. Where are the people supposed to go? The quick answer that people may think is go to the shelter. Is that an option, a real option?
Well, some people go to the shelter because they're used to it, or just a place to lay their heads or get a meal or take a shower. But the shelter can be real, I'm talking about real bad for certain people. Me, I got out of being locked up, and going to the shelter was like being locked up, or how they treated you. And when I was at the shelter, I thought everybody had equal opportunity. You could find jobs, and you can get your ID, you can get your life together. But the shelter was not that way. And when I was there, the shelter had the same homeless guys that has been there for years telling you what to do. And let's say if they didn't like somebody, they'll put them out.
One thing I want to add about mass shelters, so the only shelter here in town where anybody can go at any time, basically, is Nashville Rescue Mission. And actually, on an annual basis, thousands of people are taking advantage of that. But on a nightly basis, there are hundreds of people at both these campuses. And there are folks like Sean who have trauma experienced from their long prison stay, who cannot be in these crowds because it reminds them of that whole prison setting. And so that's part of the things we do sometimes forget when it comes to why can people go to shelters. Nashville has more shelters, but every other shelter needs to get a referral from Metro government.
Okay, so we're gonna take a walk towards the War Memorial. And here we are across the street. The statue is still there, where we used to have songs. They feed us every Tuesday. A bus would pull up and they would, take baths and, just pray and sing songs. I thought that was cool, but then I got to wondering why veterans were in wheelchairs or why they were handicapped some type of way. And I got to wondering about them, and I was like, me as being homeless, I'm not a veteran, I'm a convict. So I thought if they are veterans and they don't take care of them properly, it's gonna be a long time before they take care of me.
And when did you get out of prison and into homelessness? When did it happen? I'm trying to put a time frame on it.
2008, November the 18th. That's when I got out of prison. And I would have never thought in my wildest dreams that veterans are going through so much.
So on veteran homelessness, I'm coming in with a few facts. In 2010, the federal government decided to invest in veteran homelessness. What Sean just said didn't sit right with Congress. So there was a lot of money invested in BASH vouchers, which is kind of the Section 8 vouchers for veterans. So rental assistance plus support services. A lot of veterans have PTSD and severe mental health and trauma. And since 2010 to now, veteran homelessness has been reduced through that housing first approach, get people in housing, and then get them the supports they need. It's not either or, it's both together. Veteran homelessness has been reduced since 2010, since that time, by about 55%. In essence, if we actually want to do something, this shows what we can do to reduce homelessness. If politicians invest the right amount into the rental assistance, into the assistance for support services, and combine it, that's the key, to combine it, then we know what to do to reduce and end homelessness for people.
So as we stand in front of the War Memorial that is actually completely under construction at this point, and so you just told us that there was this incredibly vibrant community that would gather here on Tuesdays and have, a bus would pull up to provide showers and food. Right now we're standing and that place no longer exists.
I mean, like she said, they are remodeling, and I'm wondering if anybody's going to be able to be on that property just to rest. Not to sleep, but just to rest.
War Memorial Plaza early on was the place of demonstrations, and people experiencing homelessness would pitch their tents and be part of it. And so there was a law created that public camping on state property was prohibited a few years ago. And in 2022, the law changed and it really targeted homelessness, because now Tennessee was the first state to adopt and criminalize homelessness. Any public property, it's not allowed to camp. So basically, where are people experiencing homelessness supposed to be? It outlawed it, it made it a felony. And a few weeks ago, 2 people in Inglewood, East Nashville area were arrested by Metro Police under that, which is a first for Metro Police. So we see how that's going to work. I assume they're going to probably get a first warning, but then potentially this could be another felony. And going back to talk a little about what does it mean to have a felony coming out of prison and re-enter? What's your experience? What did you go through?
Being a felon is you're not free, really. Because if you come home from being a felon and you're thinking that things are going to change, unless you have help or your family or friends or somebody that you know, at that time, I didn't have nobody. I told my mom that I just got out just to keep her calm, but the truth is, I was homeless for 2 years. And I was kind of just dumbfounded about the whole thing because I couldn't get ID, birth certificate, or Social Security card. So at first I was go ahead on and pick up cans. Then I went from picking up cans to washing parking lots at McDonald's and also Burger King or whatever fast food restaurant it was. So that was kind of hard. I end up going to churches. I end up going to buildings that were abandoned. I end up going to houses. Meaning when I say I went to churches, I always thought it was, comfortable just to sleep on a church step. It wasn't that comfortable. I never got robbed. The police harassed me, no matter where I went.
What changed for you? How did you get out of this?
Going to the contributor. The contributor back in 2009, at the end, towards the end of it, helped me get ID, helped me get Social Security card, and helped me get birth certificate. And that meant something to me. That they were helping me along the way. Now, I know Tom's had that rule about nobody that's a contributor, that's a vendor, can help anybody, meaning that they can't give up their papers. But a long time ago, a vendor helped me to try to help me get started. Now, he sit up here and gave me 10 papers and told me, just go out there on the corner of Music Road and start selling paper.
Talk a little about your contractor with the contributor. Explain how that works.
Okay, so when I got there and I was new, I was just sitting there alone and I was saying, I'm wondering if I got to sign anything or what I got to do. But Tom announced that all people that came here to train to be a contributor, stay at your seats because we're going to interview all of you. Well, I thought it was going to be a one-on-one. No, it was just Tom talking. But he talked and he asked questions. You ask questions about what you need and sit up here and they say your name, you get a badge, you get a paper, 15 free, and you get a sticker, bumper sticker for cars, and then you get who to get in contact with on a card. So that was it. Then you had to go out. Well, the place that I thought that it was going to be cool at, Jefferson Street. Oh no, they threw money at me I got money thrown at me. I got treated like I didn't belong. And I was like, these are my people. What is going on? And they treat you more unfair. And I said, well, let me try some other place. Let me try Walmart. I went all the way out to Berry Hill to go to Walmart. They gave me more food than money. I had a bunch of groceries I just gave away to people that were homeless. And I made $3. So I said, that's not the place. And I said, I'm gonna go back to Music Row. Music Row, the only thing I got from them was water and money. And at that time, it was $12, and I was happy with it. I was successful. I thought I was, in heaven. I kept making $12 to $20 every day. I ran into the old man and I said, so how do people make more money? He said, you just stay out there longer. You're only doing an hour or two. And I was like, okay. So I went back out there and stayed out there to about 8, 9 o'clock. When I got through, I counted $100 and something. And I was happy. I was yelling, jumping, and I gave half to him. He didn't want to take it, but I gave it to him anyway. And I said, thank you. So every day I went out there early in the morning until about 8, 9 o'clock that evening, because I was happy to find a job that paid me, and I ended up getting my ID, I ended up getting my Social Security, I ended up getting my birth certificate, and it was on.
Over the years, you've been in and out of housing situations. And right now you are in housing. Talk about how you got into the current place and how do you maintain it with the contributor income?
Well, number one, you save up every day, because nothing comes without trying to save and trying to do better. You got to believe in yourself. You got to get out there and you got to say, hey, I'm the boss of all of y'all. At least this is what I say. And I'm the king, and I'm just going to do it. You go to the contributor, and you're going to make it work. Now, far as when I first realized that it was working for me, I say within 2 weeks, it came into a career for me.
Talk about stigma that homelessness brings along. Also, when you get a job, like cleaning up a parking lot, like other jobs that you've had, do you feel there's a stigma because when people know that you're experiencing homelessness?
Okay, so I kept selling the contributor no matter what, whether it was day or night. I got jobs. I always got jobs that were in the evening. But I had one job that was during the day, and they always wanted to pay me less. They seen that I was a felon, didn't lie about it. So I got cheated out of money, because I figured unless you know somebody, or unless you had a family member that was there, then you would get treated right. But that wasn't always the case. It was just me and something about that felon that made me get paid less. So I was so used to getting done wrong so many years, I decided no more. I'm gonna start my t-shirt business called Kings and Queens and try to better myself. And right now I'm working on Kings and Queens and selling the newspaper Contributor out there on the corner. Yes, I'm gonna do both.
One thing we haven't addressed yet is all the background noise. We're walking in Nashville downtown. It's about a one mile loop. And we intentionally are doing it in the noise, in the heat, in the cool even if it's light rain, because that's what people go through. They can't escape it a lot of times. And so we can do this for 1 hour to 70 minutes, when people are stuck in this. And I've had days on the tour where the noise really got to me, and I had to remind myself what would happen if I couldn't, after this tour, go inside and get away from it. How would I feel? How would it affect my mood? How does that affect your mood when you're out there?
I guess you could say the depression kicks in more. No matter what you do, no matter what happens, if you don't have a place, if you don't have friends, if you don't have something to do, then you're gonna try to find people. Or if you're depressed, like me, dealing with depression, you don't wanna be around a bunch of people, but you just cool with a bunch of people. But I guess you could say downtown at the bus station, they used to have it where a bunch of homeless just slept on one side or slept around the bus. Well, they stopped all that now, and they stopped homelessness from being down at the bus station. It was a big change from almost everybody living down at the bus station to nobody being around the bus station at all at night.
Can you talk a little bit then about what you mean by how did they stop homelessness? How did they stop from people being able to rest there or wait for their bus there? I mean, I'm looking right now, I see very few benches for people to sit at.
Let's go over here. Come on. On the side, there were more benches, there were more places to lay your head. And at the bus, you could lay there all night. But you couldn't be inside the bus station. But you could be outside the bus station. The main thing is, it was maybe about 100 people over here between the bus station and the municipal auditorium laying down at night. And as you can see, it's a big space over here. And you can just imagine people on the outside of the bus station, it's a little bit more space too.
So there's this little plaza, and we're looking around. We're actually seeing 4 security personnel walking around. There are one especially right now interacting with a person who's in a wheelchair and clearly experiencing homelessness. So there are relationships and all of that, but their goal is also to keep that plaza just empty. There were a ton of benches, as Sean just described, in that plaza too, and they were all removed and piled up, and we have pictures that we show on the tour about that. One other thing, because I'm describing it right now, we're also seeing 4 people now in wheelchairs. There is always a question on the tour, where people with disabilities going? They cannot, and this is something I completely understand looking into it. Nashville Rescue Mission is not equipped as a nursing home, so when people cannot take care of themselves, like shower, go to the restroom, and they cannot keep them safe there. So they're not really able to admit them into it because this is not a nursing home. So where are people going to go and how do they survive? And I've learned from people like Sean and others, some of them pay when they get benefits, pay other people who are homeless to help them with some of the necessities. And it's a huge issue. I mean, just standing here and seeing so many people in wheelchairs, going to encampments, you always see some wheelchair around. It's unimaginable to me to have to live like that outdoors when you're just not well, you're elderly, you're not even elderly and just a disability, and you can't access anything because of your disability.
What's something you hope people notice differently after they take your tour?
Oh, I hope that they notice that homeless people need help. without help from other people, I mean, you're just putting more homeless people on the streets. The people that are homeless, they always need something. And that main thing is to somebody that cares, somebody that's gonna take care of you as far as put housing, a meal, a shower, you know.
It's easy to want to blame people for their homelessness, but when you get to know people like Sean and you learn their stories, you're starting to realize where the system failed him. You're also starting to realize that the journey in homelessness was not just one street. It had a lot of in and out and this and that, and here is where somebody took advantage because of the stigma that came along with being a felon, being homeless. All of a sudden, the picture looks different. You have somebody who's very responsible, who wants to make money, but the depression keeps him also down, and people taking advantage doesn't help with it. In essence, when people are already on the street for a long time, it's really that relationship building and building that trust back for people to see the light at the end of the tunnel again. It's not that they haven't tried before. So we need to get away from trying to blame people and really looking at what we can do to strengthen our safety nets. And not just, right now we are focusing on outdoor homeless, that visible homelessness, but we also need to look a little bit further upstream. What happens before people become homeless? Where are our systems failing them that they even end up here? Nobody chooses to come out here and be in and out of homelessness. Something happened.
So if anyone at home would like to take this tour, Judy, can you talk just a little bit about how much does it cost and who can sign up for this tour? Is it available for everyone?
Yes, it's available for everyone. You can go online, and we're probably going to see that there is a link posted where you can sign up. We are trying to encourage tours of around 8 people groups, but individuals can sign up too. The cost is $20 so that we pay our trained tour guides, and we pay a living wage. So that's what that money goes towards.
Well, listeners at home, I encourage you to take this tour. I think we all have been downtown Nashville, and if you've ever wondered how someone ends up unhoused, or if you simply want to see Nashville differently, take this tour. It's absolutely worth taking an afternoon or morning and just seeing your city differently, and it truly has changed my perspective. So thank you.
Thank you, kings and queens. Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. Early voting is open now through August 1st for the August 6th state and federal primary election and municipal general. Go vote! And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our CityCast Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Doodles!